It's that time of year again when I want to make sure that my winter driving is as safe as possible. One of the best ways to ensure that is that you have good visibility when you're driving, and that requires a very clean windscreen. Now, one thing I also want to do is apply some form of glass coating to the car's windscreen. I can't do that unless the windscreen is perfectly clean. So today I'm going to show you my method for deep cleaning the windscreen of the car. Now, like I say, this is my method, not anybody else's method, and really what I've done is I've taken a few tips from some other people and also some of my own thoughts and tried to put together a little bit of a guide for you. You can choose to follow as much of this as you want. You can choose to follow it all, you can choose to follow none of it. You can take it as advisement, give you some ideas of how you want to do it yourself, okay? So don't feel like this is a you must follow my methodology. You do what you want to do, but I'll show you how I do it, and I'm really going to make sure that that glass is as clean as possible. I want to chemically clean it and I want to mechanically clean it. I'll show you how we go about that. Now, already I have cleaned the windscreen with the wash of the car. That's a normal thing. You would normally wash your windscreen at the same time as washing your bodywork. So that's already done, but what I've also done is I've taken an extra step and I've just left it over here, I've just realised, Mcguire's Wash Plus, or Wash Plus Plus, because there's another plus there. Anyway, this is an abrasive shampoo. I wanted to really scrub that glass as clean as possible. So I've used this as well as the regular car shampoo, just to give it a good scrub. It says it does help to remove certain contaminants. It removes bugs and tar, and I guess because it's an abrasive, it will remove a good amount of dirt that a regular car shampoo wouldn't do. So that's the first step. This is really good stuff, useful if you've got waxes and sealants on your car that you want to remove, especially those that have perhaps been applied recently. It really cuts through them. So that's my first step, is this. I had already attacked them previously with a pre-wash. I had pre-washed the car. For that I used Garage Therapy's Zero Decon shampoo as a snow foam. So that was to already attack everything that was already on the car, including what was on the windscreen. So that was a chemical decontamination of sorts. This was the start of a mechanical decontamination. But now we're going to move on to products which are designed specifically for the glass. Now, one thing has happened which is interesting. I'm going to take you across to the car right now. Let me just unhook this. There we go. Now, turn my screen around. One thing you might notice, is we're half in the garage here. You see that that line there? Well, this is interesting because there is still water repellency up in this section here, and up in this section here, and down in this little corner here. And that's because, you can even see it there, because the wipers are what are responsible for removing most of the protection that I applied on this car. That was months ago that I applied rain repellents and glass sealants to this car's paint, and it's still working after a wash. These weren't really working before because the glass was so dirty that all the rain was sticking to the glass. But if I grab my hose nozzle here, and we'll make sure that's on jet, here we go. So if you can zoom in there, you can see that it's running off there, but then it's sitting in a big flat sheet here. Same up there. It wants to roll off there, and also down here, but it doesn't in the middle, and that's because the wipers have taken most of that protection, if not all of that protection, off. So what I want to do is actually get the rest of the glass, the whole load of glass, to the way that it is in the middle there. I want to get it so that it doesn't want to repel anything, so that I've removed all of the old protection from the glass. So let's start with that. So first I want to use a proper, actual, traditional glass cleaner. In this case I'm using Stoner's Invisible Glass. I really like this glass cleaner. It's not streaky, it does say it's streak free guaranteed. It's not foamy either, so it's a very straightforward glass cleaner to apply, and I'm just going to apply this liberally onto the glass and allow that to work for a minute, and then I'm going to work over it with a selection of cloths. So now that is working into the glass, it's now hopefully attacking some of the dirt within there. I'm using now a short pile microfiber. You can see that there. It's not a deep pile at all, very short, and that's good because it's going to have a bit more bite on the glass. And we're going to try and remove now and wipe up any more dirt that may be sitting on the surface of the glass. This is just the first step. So I'll just give the cloth a quick squirt and we can get cracking. Okay, well, everything just fell over. No time to reshoot. No time to set anything else up. Oh well, I've got more stuff to pick up now. Okay. Other side. Oh, I'm just knocking everything over here. These are the joys of having a small garage. Alright, so the next cloth I'm going to use is an even shorter pile again. This is designed specifically for glass. I'll show you this once I just fold it up here. So this is one of these, and you can see there's just no pile on it at all. It's super short. This is designed specifically for glass to make sure it has practically more bite on it, because we don't want cushioning. We want it to really get as flat to the glass as possible. So a bit more glass cleaner onto the glass and give it a good wipe over. You can still see that old protection is there. We'll deal with that shortly. Okay, so just to show you now, this is the glass cloth, and there's no dirt on it, there's nothing. So we've managed to remove the surface dirt. Now it's time to go mechanically and start removing the dirt that isn't so easy to see or won't easily come off with a cloth and some glass cleaner. So for this step I'm using one of these. This is a glass scraper used by painters and decorators for when they are painting around window frames. Just in case they get paint on the glass, they use one of these. It has a razor blade in it, which comes out and usually comes with spares. I'm not going to try and pull it out just now, but that blade comes out. It comes with some more in the handle. And I'm going to use this to essentially shave the glass, because there are going to be contaminants on the windscreen there which are stuck on, and the glass cleaner and the cloth couldn't push them off. So I want to get everything else which is on the surface off, so I'm going to use this to get that stuck on contamination. Anything like tree sap, things like that, tar even, will be sticking on the surface of the glass, so this is going to shave them off. Now for this you'll want to use a glass cleaner again, mainly as a lubricant. You want this to be a bit more slippery and slidey. Also, you don't want to go too steep, you don't want to attack it too hard. You want to probably not go too shallow either, somewhere around about kind of, I don't even know what angle that would be, 30 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, something like that. Not too steep, not too shallow. Be very careful when you go around the edges as well, because the rubber window frame here, the rubber seal around the edges there, that's very important. The windscreen provides some structural integrity, structural strength to the car. So you don't want to accidentally cut the rubber seal with this blade. So be very careful. If you're a bit wary, if you're not sure if you're confident doing that, leave about a 1 inch gap around the edges. What I do personally is I will start at the edge of the seal and work my way in rather than working towards the edges. But just take care, be careful in this part of it. So like I said, get the glass cleaner onto your windscreen as a lubricating product just to allow this to slide a little bit easier. And take your time, not long strokes, not super short strokes, somewhere in between. If while you're doing this, you might actually hear some of the contaminants. You'll hear a little bit of a scraping noise, you'll hear little gritty bits, and that is the blade chopping off, shaving off any of those contaminants on the glass. So, oops, sorry, I'm kicking the tripod here we go. Yeah, so don't be afraid of that. When you hear those noises, you know that the scraper is catching something which the glass cleaner and the cloth couldn't catch. Alright, so that's the windscreen now scraped. You don't need to worry too much about going right to the edges because that's not where the wipers are going to go. We want to make sure that the area the wipers are, which is where you are going to be getting your primary visibility from, that's where we want to seal it, but I do want to try and make sure we're putting down a brand new sealant surface anyway. So I'm going to go back over this with the same cleaning cloth as before to wipe up any of that residue, anything that's been taken off the glass. Pick up any of that dirt. The next step now is claying the car. So I have a piece of a clay bar here. I could use a clay mitt, but I find that clay bars are just a little bit stickier, a little bit more aggressive on the glass. So that's why I'm using this. So I've got, I'll fold that side over, like this, and we'll lay out a new section of it. Now, like with any type of claying, you need to make sure that the glass has some lubricant. So again, I'm going to use the glass cleaner once more. It's absolutely fine for this clay bar, and that will lubricate the glass to make it slippery. And I'm going to work the clay bar across the glass in short strokes to try and pick up anything else and try and pluck it out of the glass if possible. Now keep in mind, when you're working the clay on a car's paint, it would have to be done not too hard. You've got to be a bit more gentle with it. Glass is much harder than the clear coat, the lacquer that's on your car's paint, so it can withstand a lot more, including the scraping. When I was scraping the car, it wasn't scratching the glass at all. The glass is really hard. It takes a lot to scratch glass. So you can put a bit more pressure onto the clay bar, and you can already see there that there's some stuff appearing there on the edge of the clay bar. So we're certainly picking something up. I'll fold this to a clean part and work the other side of the windscreen. Like I said, I'm going with a bit more firm pressure because the glass is strong enough to handle it. And the same again on the clay bar there. Where is it? Here we go. We get some focus there. There you go. More contamination, more dirt being pulled off the windscreen just when you thought it was clean. So now I'm going to rinse the windscreen off and dry it for the next stage. What's interesting there is that protection, the bit of protected section there, seems to be performing better now than it ever has because it has been completely cleaned. It's allowing the protection product to really perform. It's really coming out there now. It's really shining through. Very, very interesting. So right now I need to grab a drying towel and dry this off because we're going to move on to polishing. Now when I said polishing, I really did mean polishing. You could go ahead and buy a glass polish like this. This is Auto Finesse Vision. And this is, it's not really as much of a polish as it is a cream deep cleaner. So it will work as a cleaner, it will get some stuff out of your windscreen, but I think we've managed to get a bunch off there already. What I'm actually going to do instead is use an abrasive polish, specifically for glass. This is Mcguire's Perfect Clarity Glass Polishing Compound. This is a proper deep cleaner. It says it removes water spots. That's because it is an abrasive cleaner. It really will scrub the glass clean. Now the best way to use that, you could use it by hand, but if you already have a machine polisher, you can buy one of these. This was cheap, it was only about £5. This is known as a rayon glass polishing pad, and this is super short, and it is designed to scrub your glass. So I'm going to be using this with my dual action polisher and go over the glass as much as I can with the machine and get all around there, scrub it perfectly clean. Now, like I said, you could have done that by hand. I could have done it by hand if I had chosen to, but then I'd probably be absolutely knackered, you know. Why, I hate to use the phrase, but why have a dog and bark yourself? You know, I've got a machine polisher. It does the job faster, it does it more easily, more efficiently. It works the product at a much higher speed than I normally would be able to. So that's why I've done it like that. Now I'm just going to buff this off to complete clarity, and then we've got one more job to do. Alright, now what is interesting is while I've been buffing this off, I've noticed a change in the feel of the glass. Before, when I was running a microfiber across the glass, before polishing it, these sections here, where a lot of that protection was left over, it felt grippier, tackier. The sections which had the wipers running across them, they felt nice and smooth, and then there was a grip happening here. Now the glass feels equally smooth. It feels exactly the same no matter which part of the glass I'm wiping the cloth across. That's great, because that means there has been a change. So I'm going to use one more product now to make sure that everything is off the glass, ready for when I apply a protection product. Now ignore the bottle it's in. I've just commandeered another spray bottle. I'll come around this way. But what I've written on here is 25% ISO. This is a 25% dilution of isopropyl alcohol. So that is 1 part isopropyl to 3 parts water in this spray bottle. And that alcohol is going to help remove anything else left over by any of these processes, whether it be the polish or the clay or the glass cleaner, anything at all. This will help to break them down and remove them as much as possible. It's a very liberal spray because it's a very atomized sprayer, this. And let's look at the water behaviour on the glass now. So there you can see where that section there used to repel strongly. It doesn't. You've still got that little section up there that I avoided with the machine polisher. You can see some bits I got closer than others, but pretty even actually. There you can see a little bit of that protection going on right up on the very edges, but before that was a much larger section, so you can see that has definitely been cleaned off. So you can see there's a little bit of protection right along the very edge of the glass there. The same on this side, just there on that section. But otherwise, we have, even down here, let's get out there, that used to be repelling all the time. Now it doesn't. It's just right on that very edge there that it wants to repel. So pretty good go in there. I've left roughly an inch going around the glass there just to make sure that I didn't accidentally stain or mark the plastic trim there. So that is now ready for applying a glass protection or sealant product. And the reason we want to do that is obviously, like any protection product on your car, the cleaner the surface is, the better the protection product has at bonding with the surface, and therefore if it bonds better, it will last longer. So that's why we've done this. In the next video I will be applying 2 separate types of glass sealant to the glass there, one on each side, and that will be to help sheet off and make sheet off the water, sheet off rain, and make driving the car a little bit safer and easier. So if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, also consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, make sure you ring that notification bell so you don't miss my next video upload. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I've been Specky, and I'll see you in the next video.